our concept here is outside playing. And there's a couple of different ways we can get some outside playing sounds. And one is by just taking a lick and moving it up or down a half step. This is a pretty common way. Like that. The other way we can do it is chromatic lines, where we're just playing within our scale shape, but we're going to play something kind of like that, where we're actually playing the notes between the notes that are in the scale, right, chromatically. The other way is actually inserting a different scale over our progression than the one that we're using. Maybe one that not all of the notes exactly fit. We can do this with like a diminished scale, a half whole diminished, sometimes a melodic minor, just briefly going into one of those shapes for a lick and then going back to our home base. That's the one thing, you want to always get back to home base. So you want to get back in the key. You step out and then you get back in. That's always tell my students that, it's like my mom, when I was a little kid, she used to take me places and she said, if you get weird, we're going to go home. And that's exactly what we're doing here. If you get weird, it's all right as long as you land back home on a note, okay? So that's what we're going to do. This solo starts out fairly straightforward and real bluesy in our E minor pentatonic scale, all right, with the bend at the 15th fret. And then I bend that with my third finger, so I go ahead and use my second finger to bend the third string at the 14th fret. And then I'm barring with my first finger over the first, second, and third string. And on that, and then I'm going to do a riff going up, which is going to be based out of my E blues scale, but it has a chromatic feel to it. And then I do the chromatic lick here. And I'm coming in on the offbeat here instead of coming in on the downbeat like we've talked about before. So going, that's just bending at the 15th fret again, but stepping down chromatically till we get to here. Then when the rhythm goes to the G, I come up on a G, the two notes of my G chord here, and then it goes to A, and I go up to A. And then we do a bend, a double stop, and slide off of my E note. The next section, I'm going to go and do a bend. All right, now on that section, that same 15th fret bend, I'm on E, so I'm really trying to cement that E feel. Up and down. I'm really going into like my Dorian scale there. That lick slowly. Then the next shape. I'm going up my flat 5 there, so I'm going up to the blues scale. Okay, right down there. Then immediately after that section, I go up to the outside lick, so it gets a little bit outside. Good place to do this is right before we go back to a fairly home-sounding place in the rhythm, and that's what I'm doing. So we're going to get a little weird here. And that is actually just doing a lick out of the half-whole diminished scale. So if we were starting here, we'd go... And you don't always have to use the whole scale. You can just use a few notes out of that just to step outside and make it sound a little bit unusual. So we start this lick, 15th fret on the first string. And it's really getting weird by then, so we got weird and now we're going home. We're back to our E, right? then we're just going to wrap it up by going back to a real, right, which is a bar on the 12th fret. Hammer on pull off there. And then just a little sort of attitudinal bend. So we started real bluesy, and then through all the different unusual things we played in there, the chromatic lick, and then our half-whole diminished scale, we got a little outside and a little bit weird, but then we ended up in a real straightforward bluesy. If you get too weird, always go back to that note. Sort of a safe haven for you when you get back there. Sounds great.